Yes, there was a purchase order issued to the Department of Justice for $10,000, and that's an open purchase order for fingerprinting. The college is required to have all employees and all volunteers that come onto campus obtain fingerprints, and we have to pay the Department of Justice to receive those reports, so that's what that open purchase order was for. The purchase orders to David Joel McDonald, that is the legal name. It's a sole proprietor for our S&B Foods, so that's the food service vendor that is on campus. And so this is several different departments that have purchase orders with S&B Foods for catering events that have been held on campus. A couple examples, one of them was for the College Day luncheon that was provided to all employees. There's a purchase order for the Classified Appreciation Week that will be upcoming, and so on. So that was basically what those are for.
Excuse me, Anne Marie, I failed to mention, I see there is some bond money being used for the Garland Company for about $15,000. And what is the background on that, since we don't have the delineated description here?
Garland Company
Roofing.
is who we purchased our roofing materials for. So we are re-roofing the trailers over at the PCC campus that the Foster Kinship program is moving into. So that was the cost of the roofing material that goes on. We get a better price if we purchase it ourselves and supply it to the contractor rather than the contractor purchasing it and then marking it up.
Okay, great, thank you.
Other members?
Yep.
This time, Chair recognizes Trustee Otto.
Yeah, and in the interest of the public's awareness of how this works, it wasn't mentioned by Superintendent President Oakley. We always have the opportunity before any meeting to ask any questions of our staff, including our vice presidents, in a responsible way that's not overboard. And I don't think that there's been a week that I've been a trustee, and that's been for 10 years, that I haven't talked to our vice president for administrative services, which used to be this guy over here, Mr. Oakley, or Anne Marie Gable, about something that's on the agenda. When Trustee Zia said, "Who's Garland?" Oh, I know those. Those are the roofing material people, or the gentleman who is actually the not the DBA, but the guy behind the DBA for the caterers. You know, we know that too, and over a period of time, you get to understand that and know that, and we do that because otherwise. And then if I'm satisfied that there's no problem and there's no issue, I don't ask those questions at the meeting because I know that. Now, what I'm going to suggest is that based on what Superintendent President Oakley said to us, is that we have a study session about what these procedures are, what the policies are, why they are, whether they need to be revised in some way, how much it costs to do these things, how much time it would take to do it, to change our software systems, to hire additional staff, so that the board can make intelligent, rational discussions, have intelligent, rational discussions in public as to the best way to do these things. We've done this a long time ago. I'm happy to revisit it. Because issues have been raised about transparency. Although I must say, to everyone's credit, no one has said that there's even a hint of impropriety. That everybody who's raised issues about this has said, you know, we're not saying there's anything wrong, we just want the public to have more information available, and if that's the way we're going and we want to pay for it and it seems to make sense, I think we should have a study session like that. Do you think that's reasonable, Superintendent President?
Yes, certainly, if that's the pleasure of the board. The only recommendation I would make is that it be after we implement the new board agenda system, so that the board can actually see what's already on there and then make decisions beyond that.
And when are we implementing it? Is January? Is that
January board meeting, that's when we're expecting to go live, and you'll receive your devices after this meeting today, so you can begin to get used to it.
And this has been in the works for about a year, hasn't it?
Yes, we discussed this about a year and a half ago, and I think at the time there was discussion to staff to start looking into it, to start getting recommendations, and we decided to wait until after the board election because, you know, some outgoing trustees didn't favor technology as much as some of the incoming trustees, but so we wanted to wait until that happened.
Excuse me, Mr.
All right.
President.
Recognizes trustee Zia.
I'd like to make a motion that until January, that we have the itemized expenditures for purchase orders under $25,000 be itemized in our docket going forward until we get the electronic board dockets.
Second. I'm going to second that motion. And I would also like to add, I guess it's a new trustee, and that it would be helpful for me because some of these names I myself do not recognize. And though they, you know, I'm sure they're vendors or individuals that we do business with, those of you that have been on the board are familiar, just as you were able to right off understand who the roofers were. I had no clue, so I think that would be helpful.
Yes,
If we could also get a list of the vendors or the businesses that we do, that we contract with, so that when we see something like this, we can readily understand what it is.
Perhaps if I may suggest,
Hold on.
trustee.
Whoa. So there's a motion and a second, and let me just ask in very clear. Trustee Otto, our Superintendent President Oakley, is there anything we have to be worried about with doing this?
So I
Good intentions.
I just want to be clear what the board is asking, which I think we can do. We have one more meeting before the January meeting. If the board is satisfied with the list that we provided before this board meeting, we can work to get it to you earlier before the next board meeting, and we can certainly provide a list to the trustees of the vendors we're currently working with. That's not a problem.
What I'm requesting is that list, which, by the way, for the $772,000, it was 2 pages. It's just a list, and adding the description of services as Trustee Archuleta pointed out. You know, we're fairly new. We don't know by heart who these folks are. That it be itemized per. Just adding the description of services to the current setup that you have for the board meeting and in the docket.
Okay, well, that part I didn't get. That part we cannot do because that would require every division secretary to change the way they're entering the data. So we could not do that in the next board meeting. We could not do that in the January meeting. And I think that's where we need to get into a discussion about the cost effectiveness of how much more information you want. We can certainly provide you with the information on all the purchase orders.
Well, I think the public has the right to know, Superintendent Oakley. It's not just for our information purposes. So what I'm asking for, perhaps until the January meeting, the list that you have provided, I understand. I don't want to cause inadvertently cause any administrative burden. So perhaps the list that you have provided, which is here, which is 2 pages worth of computer-generated report, be provided in our docket and for the public to see that we're doing our jobs and that we're transparent until we implement the electronic board dockets.
All right, let me just inject something into this conversation. What I understood is that originally it was that simple 2-page that was provided for this meeting that you were able to look at. And quite frankly, everyone, I've been here 12 years and I don't have a memory list of all the vendors. If I have a question, I ask a question. But to make a motion here, we run into with Brown Act. This was not an agendized item 72 hours in advance, and now we're taking an action without proper notification per the Brown Act. So I run into that problem when you make motions on a floor that we vote on, and then it shows up at the next meeting. We are essentially in violation of the public disclosure laws for the state of California. I bring that up. We can agendize it for the next meeting for discussion, if that's. But it seems a little bit silly because January we're going to board docs, et cetera. So the point is, when the original question about without doing a motion was just to provide this, and Superintendent Oakley said it would be easy to provide a 2-page breakdown similar to what we did for this meeting. That can be done without having to really need a motion. But if we get into a motion, we are in violation of the Brown Act. So that's why to do it causes some legal issues that I wanted you to be aware of. I mean, we make a motion in a second, and I'm trying to catch up with everybody running the meeting. So I put it there. There has been, somebody made a motion in a second, and now I've explained that. So I'll ask the maker of the motion and the second. If the intent is for asking, requesting the superintendent president to provide what was provided for this meeting as far as identification of vendors, and I was told that can be done without any motion, we're all fine. If we suddenly are asking to do an agendized item and pass it tonight in violation of the Brown Act, I would tell you that we cannot do that.
Okay, may I ask a question, President Kellogg? Are you saying that we could provide this without a motion for the December 9th board meeting in the board dockets and post it electronically?
The request was that to exactly what was provided today by Vice President Gable, that two-page readout, very simple, didn't have a lot of details to it. That was a question that President Oakley had said can be done. So we don't really need a motion to do that. It's just a simply
Okay.
feeding something out. If
I believe
that's
I made the
acceptable,
request.
be done.
Well, I made the request that it be added to the minutes, but I appreciate that, and I have no problem if we just provide that information in our board docket and for the public to see this itemized list for the expenditures that are not already itemized in the docket.
It is clear for the next meeting what was provided today, that I want to say 2-page, and I apologize if it wasn't 2 pages. I was looking at it electronically, but whatever was provided
It's 2
for this
pages.
meeting will be provided for the next meeting, our last meeting for the year 2014. And then, so I just ask if the maker of the motion, if you can withdraw that motion in a second, and then we can move on.
Well, I appreciate that, President Kellogg. It may not be 2 pages, just for the clarity, maybe more. I don't know what our expenditures are going to be, but just what is similar to what we have. And yes, I have no problem with that. And I'm very much looking forward to our discussion to look at what we provide in our dockets.
So my
going
understanding is you've
forward.
withdrawn the motion,
Yes.
and the second, are you
Yes.
fine with that? All right, very
But
good.
can I make a comment?
Chair recognizes
Okay,
trustee
so-
Alterette.
I'm satisfied we can go ahead and just receive the same list that we received for this board meeting. But I would also like to comment on Doug's recommendation that we take the opportunity to revisit our procedures. I think the fact that we are new, that we're not as familiar with many of the processes, and with the new board docs coming on board, I think it's a great opportunity for us to get some retraining and maybe to consider some new processes that we may want to review and implement, and so that we can have a more transparent and efficient process. Is that
I
something that
agree, absolutely.
we can incorporate into that board doc training?
As long as the public can attend and see the information, I have no problem with that, and I appreciate that.
One last thing, you're gonna kill me.
Chair
Draw my
recognizes
motion,
trustee-
my second.
Very good. Chair recognizes trustee Baxter.
Yeah, Trustee Archuleta asked for a list of vendors. Vice President Gable gave us that list a couple of weeks ago. It was 293 pages of all the vendors from the college, so I'm sure she will get it to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, very good. So the discussion, by the way, we still do have a motion, which was also going to, we actually have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the consent calendar item. And so if there's no other discussion on this, and I will say thank you, President Oakley, because I know that was later, but I thought it fit probably better in this discussion. My question through, we see this all the time about the internal, external audits, et cetera. So I just wanted to be able to explain to people why, for example, and it came up in the discussion, why we don't approve everything in the world in our role as a governing body. And to me, the classic example was there is on College Day, there was a vendor who takes care of our food. We as a board meet once, sometimes twice a month, and to actually have where before that expenditure can actually move forward, we have to meet and approve it, review it, and approve it. And this way, the way we have our current policies and procedures in place, there are cross-checks, balances, but as far as waiting for us to do it, would really not be productive for the college, because the college runs on a daily basis and we're not here on a daily basis. So there are those protections, but that's a good example of why we're not approving them as they go. We do eventually get to review them, but that was actually whoever brought it up, thank you, for the, with the food vendor, for lack of a better term. McDonald is his name. So anyway, there is a motion, a second on the floor, to approve the consent calendar item. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on that item.
We already did the consent calendar, right?
No, this item that was pulled, that was discussion. There was a motion, a second on the floor. There was already a motion, a second on the floor before we had any discussion.
Yes, 12.5.
Correct?
President Kellogg?
Aye.
Vice President Otto?
Aye.
Member Archuleta?
Aye.
Member Baxter?
Aye.
Member Zia?
Aye.
All right, moving forward, we're now to the, on this item, this is item 8.1. This is the Academic Senate. Before we have that, it's all new, modified, innovative courses and designs. I have to say there is a correction. If you don't have it, but just for the record, this is on agenda item 8.1. This is on tab 5, if you're looking at it, and it is the third item down. It is under educational planning. That needs to be removed because it has not yet been approved as it goes through the process with our academic side of the house. So,
Tab 5.
yeah, if you look on tab 5.
I have no tabs.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Keep looking.
It's right behind the minutes, non-consent calendar. You're going to have a leap of faith here, Doug. It's right there. That item is not to be discussed, and that's all I want to do for the record. So at this time, I will, President Oakley, you want to start the process with the Vice President?
Well, for this item, I will turn it over to our Academic Senate President, Karen Kane.
Thank you.
Where's the tab?
This item represents hundreds of hours of work, of faculty work, as curriculum is the purview of the faculty. And I want to give a little shout out to my colleagues in the audience and the hundreds of faculty on this campus who diligently commit to the curriculum process. So are there questions at this time about this item?
Questions, members of the board at this time? Chair recognizes Trustee Otto.
Yeah. The background information on this is, talks a lot about how, in general, things are done, but when I look through, forget the tab numbers, I think it was 6 or 7 pages of modified courses, new courses, discontinued courses, general education courses. I wasn't sure that I completely understood how that worked. Now, I believe that under Title V, courses subject to the approval of the board are really in the purview of the faculty. They make those decisions, they work them up, they decide when to discontinue them. But just for my own interest, can you explain what these things mean?
Yes. So again, this represents hundreds of hours and a vetting process before it comes to you. And then once you give approval, if that's what you decide to do, then it goes to the chancellor's office for even further approval. But the new courses represent exactly what the name new means. It's a brand new course. And we have a lot of regulations on how we can develop a brand new course. We can't just say, hey, we want to teach this. It has to fall in line with a 4-year college. It has to be a light course to a transferring institution. And then there's a lot of work from the department faculty to develop the course. Then it goes to our curriculum, or through our curriculum process. And for a new course, the first stop is the course evaluation subcommittee, where faculty review each course and then, for lack of a better word, grill the faculty author to ask every question to make sure that the course is created according to Title V regulations and according to our regulations. And then from there, the courses would go to the ADGE, Associate Degree General Education Subcommittee. From there, and that's for placement on plans, general education plans and so forth. And then from there, it goes to the larger curriculum committee. And I want to stop before it even gets there. I want to also say that because we have several of our academic deans in attendance, the academic deans also have to sign off on these courses before they go forward for faculty scrutiny and thank you, recommendation. So then it goes to the curriculum committee, and it has to get approved there, and then it comes to you. And from you, then it would go to the chancellor's office. So that's a new course path. A modified course is a term that we're just starting to utilize. We used to say changed course, but we found out that at the chancellor's office, the acceptable term is modified. So we're modifying our language, and instead of saying a changed course, we'll be saying a modified course. A modified course is one that has a significant change to the face page. That could be unit value or the description of the course. The TUs, that kind of thing. Our courses also go through a routine review every 6 years. They don't come here unless they've been modified significantly on the face page. So there's a lot of update to courses that you will never see because they're not significant enough to bring here, significant changes to bring here. And then inactivation reflects also a lot of work from faculty because our faculty curriculum goes through a program review, a course of study or a discipline, a series of courses or a curriculum guide or program, and we review those extensively every 3 years. So a lot of times the inactivated courses are ones that the department is no longer utilizing. They will not be assessing the outcomes of the course, and so they're literally just sitting on the shelf of that department, and rather than do that, we inactivate them if we don't see a need for them going forward.
Other members of the board?
Board President Kellogg, can I make one comment?
Yes.
First of all, I want to thank the work of our Academic Senate President and her entire exec team, but and please, to all my faculty colleagues, don't take my comments out of context right now, but I just want to make clear to the board, as we were just talking about your responsibility for finance, although we primarily rely upon the faculty for issues of curriculum, you are also ultimately responsible for curriculum. So since we are on that theme of what you're responsible for, I just want to make that clear.
Trustee
I
Otto?
understand we're responsible for everything, including the hiring and firing of the president.
Exactly. And yes.
Can I just insert one more thing that's on the final page of this new degree? And the board has had presentations from various entities of the college about we used to call them the AA or the AST degrees. They're now referred to as the ADT, Associate Degree for Transfer. And on tonight's agenda item, you would be approving one for the theater arts program. And the faculty are diligently working on getting these approved. I also want to just thank Dr. Terry Long, who, as our new Vice President of Academic Affairs, has been a wealth of information with curriculum and is really helping us to right the ship and get our curriculum moving forward more efficiently. So I want to thank her for that.
Right, other members of the board at this time. I apologize. I walked over and I didn't realize that trying to find tab 5, we did not make a proper motion a second for any discussions, so I apologize for that. So this time I would like to entertain a motion to approve this item because it is an action item. Motion by
Second.
Trustee Baxter, second by Trustee Zia. Any discussion? Report? Oh, it's been done? Thank you. And I would also, because many people are here, and Superintendent President Oakley, and you heard, and I tell people this, and this is someone who spent my entire life is in the private sector, business, and then being involved in local government. But for a lot of people, they don't really see or fully understand that I tell people this in all honesty. Everything we do as a community college, as a governing board member, there is a process. And that's the way every community college works. And sometimes people don't really understand that, about how it is so process-driven in so many ways. And it's a good thing. But a lot of times people think that we're just here and we do things, and it doesn't really work that way. Here's a classic example. It really is. We're responsible, but we depend heavily on, in this case, our full-time faculty, who do a great job. So there is a motion, a second on the floor. My apologies, not getting that earlier. No other discussion. Madam Secretary, please call the roll on item 8.1.
Can I ask a question?
Chair recognizes Trustee Archuleta. Yes, you sure can.
Thank you. I also want to thank you for all the work that you're doing. I know this involves a lot of work, and I know the faculty are heavily involved in modifying or creating new classes or new curriculum. But are there any other ADTs in the pipeline?
There's several in the pipeline right now that are going through the approval process. I'll defer to Dr. Long.
We have 4 at the Chancellor's office right now: Administration of Justice, Anthropology, Geography, and Philosophy. So that would put us at 16. When we get approval of those, this would make, the theater arts make 17.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Other members of the board? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on 8.1.
Sure. President Kellogg,
Aye.
Vice President Otto,
Aye.
Member Archuleta,
Aye.
Member Baxter,
Aye.
Member Zia.
Aye.
Thank you. Item 10.1, Instructional Department highlights.
Yes, I'd like to turn it over to Vice President Long.
Vice President Long.
Thank you. Last board meeting, we highlighted 2 faculty members from 2 different departments on campus. And so tonight I'd like to highlight 2 departments on campus. I will start with the nursing department. Just to give you a little overview on one of the things the nursing department is working on is they're establishing collaboratives with CSUs and other universities to provide a pipeline for our students to continue on after Long Beach City College to earn Bachelor of Science degrees in nursing. So the emphasis in these collaborations is on dual enrollment. Our students who are enrolled in the ADN program have the opportunity to be dual enrolled in a BSN program at another university. So Long Beach City College students attend these university programs during the summer, and the goal here is to reduce the time to completion from 4 years to 3 years. We currently have a formal collaboration with Cal State LA. 8 graduates from our program will be receiving their BSN this spring, and we have another 8 graduates of the ADN program that will graduate from Long Beach City College in the spring and start the summer program at Cal State LA in the summer of 2015. So the department is working on some additional collaborations. They're looking right now at Cal State Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Dominguez Hills, and Vanguard University. So I'd like to congratulate Debbie Chow, the department head and program director, Dr. Rhonda Wood, who's the assistant program director, Dean Paul Creason, who's in the audience, and all of our nursing faculty for these great efforts to provide a pipeline for our nursing students to earn their Bachelor's of Science degrees in nursing. So congratulations to the nursing faculty.
Does that conclude your report, Vice President Long?
No. Secondly, I would like to also recognize our Child Development Center at PCC. Recently, they participated in a voluntary program evaluation known as the Steps to Excellence program. This is a system that rates programs that serve children ages 0 to 5 years old. And so this last month, we had assessors from UCLA come out to observe and examine 6 areas of our program operations. The areas that they looked at were regulatory compliance, teacher-child relationships, learning environment, identification and inclusion of children with special needs, staff qualifications and working conditions, and family and community connections. After the visit, the CDC at PCC received a rating of 4 out of 5. That means that we received a rating of advanced quality level. And I will say that the only way we can receive a rating of 5 is if all of our teachers have bachelor's degrees. So we received the highest rating we could receive from this visit. So again, I'd like to congratulate those who are part of our Child Development Center and our Child Development Program, Stacy Smith-Clark and her staff at the center, Julie Frumkin, the Department Head of Child Development, Ken Starkman, our Dean of CTE. Everyone is obviously doing a very excellent job providing our little Vikings with a quality learning environment. So thank you and congratulations. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Vice President Long. That was an informational item only, so there's no board action. Next item is under Student Support Services, 11.2. This is also an informational item. Student Finance Loan Default Prevention Plan Presentation. President Oakley?